Hello and welcome to Audiobook Connection, behind the scenes with the creative teams. I'm Becky Parker Geist and I'm your host. Audiobook Connection is your place to learn about the audiobook creative process and for authors to learn valuable tips on producing and marketing your audiobooks. This podcast is sponsored by Pro Audio Voices, helping great stories come alive through audiobook production and marketing. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, we're going to talk about the top 4 things you need to do in marketing your audiobook. These are broad, but they are really important as you prepare to market your audiobook. Now, I know and talk with a lot of authors, and one of the things that is quite consistent is the sentiment that marketing can be really overwhelming. There are so many things that you could do to market your book and your audiobook. And sometimes it can feel like every new marketing strategy is like a shiny object pulling you that way, and you end up possibly doing some of those things or maybe just getting so overwhelmed that you end up not doing anything. This episode is to help you get organized and figure out how to take it one step at a time. Another thing that happens frequently is that it may feel like if we're doing anything, it's at least I'm doing something. When that very effort of doing the something, and maybe that's putting a post on Facebook or something like that, it may not be getting the results that we want, except for that momentary sense of satisfaction that we've done something. And the truth is that we can't do everything, but the good thing is we don't need to. So, the place to start, number 1, is make a plan. I'm going to give you some different ways to approach making the plan, and then you can either do this on your own or you can reach out for help. This first bit is a bit of a gathering process. Now, depending on where you gather information about marketing and what your possibilities and potentials are, you may be gathering from many different sources. For example, you may have read on some social media platform about a tactic that might be helpful in marketing your book or your audiobook. You want to write that down and add that to this list that you're going to create. Or you may attend meetings of an organization like Bay Area Independent Publishers Association, which I highly recommend, and the website is baipa.org. That's BAIPA.org. Very valuable organization where you can get a lot of information about both independent publishing and then also about marketing your works. So you may have attended a presentation and learned about some new approach that you might use in your marketing. Or you may have seen a webinar or learned something from a YouTube video, or may have heard about an idea, gotten an idea from a fellow author. There are all kinds of ways that you're taking in this information. So what I'm suggesting you start out by doing is just making a kind of doing sort of a brain dump of all those different ideas, everything you can think of that you could do. And I say it in that way because I want you to leave off all the things that feel like they're either beyond your reach because of financial reasons or simply because they would take too much time or energy. This is likely to be a big list, and it may be one that you're going to add on to as you go forward. But for now, I want you to take the time to create this giant list of marketing ideas. They can be broad or they could be more specific. And I think that you'll be better off and find that the next step gets easier if you are a little more specific about what that plan is or what the steps are that you would need to take in order to make marketing progress if you were to add this item to your plan. One of the initial benefits of creating this giant list and just getting it out of your head and onto paper is that you've done just that. You've gotten it out of your head and in front of you where you can look at it more objectively and start to really evaluate what's going to be possible for you. You may also want to note if there are items on the list that would require you to learn something more, to get some team to help you or a professional to help you with that thing. Just note what you're able to do on your own and what you would need to either do something more for or reach out and get some help with. If it's something you would need to learn more about, then add the step to do that learning. Okay, once you have this giant list, then the next thing you're going to do is to prioritize it. And I want you to prioritize it not by what you can do first or what you think you can do most easily, but by what you think will get the best results. And that may be hard to figure out, but at this point, what you're doing is you're just going to make your best guess with this. You're gathering information you've been learning from all different sources. You're going to make an assessment of what feels from your gut, what feels like is most likely to be the best fit for you to get the best results for you. This is a list that also, if you do decide that you would like to get some help with your marketing plan, having this list will be really helpful just in that process because you will have already thought through some of the many things you could do, and speaking with a marketing professional will give you a starting place, a foundation, and then you can build from that point forward. If you would like help with this most essential, most foundational part of marketing, having a plan, if you would like help with creating that plan, this is the perfect top priority thing to go get help with. At Pro Audio Voices, the first step in our audiobook marketing program, in the 3-month launch program, is to have our expert marketing team, our strategist, create your custom marketing blueprint. And there are other marketing professionals who are out there who can be very helpful in this process. Let's go forward with the idea that you now have this giant list and you have prioritized your list as best you can. Number 2, you're going to make a checklist. This is also your to-do list. And this process may help you also sort of tighten up your overall list that you've already prioritized. One of the things that differentiates this checklist piece from your first list is that each of these on your checklist need to be things that you can clearly do and check off. In other words, they're not just marketing ideas, they're actually action steps. You may find that some of the list from your first marketing sort of brain dump of those marketing ideas, you may find that some of those either need multiple steps to be able to do them, or that you need help in some part of them. This would be a good moment to identify what kind of help you think you may need so that you can then add to your checklist to go find that help. Once you've gone through and made your checklist, I want you to add after each item, each action item, how long you think it will take you to do that. And if it's something that you can do in 1 day or 1 week or multiple days over the course of a month, whatever it is, mark next to each item the time that you think you'll need in order to accomplish that item. This can take a little more time because I want you to really think about it. Try to be as realistic as you can be about how long each step will take. And then, in pencil, put at the top of that page, or, if you're doing it digitally, that's cool. Just, put it at the top of the page, your planned launch date. And the reason I said to do it in pencil if you're working on paper is that you may end up deciding to adjust that date as you get clear on your plan and your checklist, and also on the third step that's coming up. As you're doing your checklist, double-check against your first list to make sure that you got it all the things that you want to have on your checklist. And keep in mind that it is fine at this point to start weeding out some of the things that you feel like, I just don't think I could get to that, or that just feel like make you feel overwhelmed. The idea here, of course, is to figure out what you can do, not all the things that you feel like you can't. This step, this creation of a to-do checklist, is also a part of our audiobook marketing program, launch program, that we offer. Let's take a short pause, and we'll come right back.
Looking for a marketing plan and the support to implement it? At Pro Audio Voices, we're here to help. The audiobook marketing program offers 3 levels of launch packages to meet your needs. Each 3-month program includes a custom marketing blueprint that is created through one-to-one strategy sessions with our marketing strategy team. You'll get access to the AMP membership portal with modules you can go through at your own pace, as well as a checklist to keep you on track. You'll also get a custom-built library of marketing assets, videos you can use in the places you'll be focusing on based on your marketing blueprint, a monthly coaching call, custom keywords and hashtags, your own direct sales landing page where you'll earn 70% of whatever price you said. And that's just the beginning. Visit audiobookmarketingprogram.com to learn more.
All right, let's keep going. Step number 3 of 4, and that is calendar. Now is the time to add each of those items on your checklist to your calendar. This can really take some time, and I want you to initially just put on your calendar that you're going to do this calendaring process and allow yourself at least an hour to do it. And very possibly you may need more time than that just to calendar these items. Here's why. In a sense, this is where the pedal hits the metal. This is where we have to get real about what we can do and what we can fit into our calendar. Most of us have busy lives, and so trying to find the time to do all of these different things on your checklist, well, clearly they're not all going to fit in 1 week, for example, or even 1 month.
The putt to win the tournament.
So what you're trying to do is to be realistic about what you can do.
But on your backswing, your hat falls over your eyes. Is this how you're running your business?
This is where having written out
relying on spreadsheets and outdated finance
how much
software
time you'll
to see
need
the full picture,
for each
you
of
need
those
to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system to power your growth.
May also
with visibility
help
and control of your
re-examine your
financials,
checklist
inventory, HR, planning, budget,
really
and more.
take a close
NetSuite
look
is
at
everything
what
you need to
feels
grow,
doable
all in one
for
place.
you.
With NetSuite,
Remember that
you can
not
automate
everything
your
has to
processes
start
and close
right
your
away,
books in no
and not
time
everything
while
has to be
staying
done
well ahead
right
of your
away.
competition.
So
93% of surveyed businesses increase their visibility and control after upgrading to NetSuite. Over 27,000 businesses already use NetSuite. And right now, through the end of the year, NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind financing program to those ready to upgrade at netsuite.com/C-Suite. Head to netsuite.com/C-Suite for special end-of-year financing on the #1 financial system for growing businesses. netsuite.com/C-Suite.
And this is going to require also some ongoing adjustment. One of the first things you'll want to do is at the end of each day is take a look at
behind the scenes with the
went.
creative team.
You set aside
I'm Becky
time
Parker
to do a
Geist, and I'm your
specific
host.
task or tasks.
Audiobook Connection
Did
is
you
your
achieve
place
that?
to learn about
What
the
happened?
audiobook
Did you
creative
get
process,
distracted?
and for
Or did you
authors to
actually
learn
get
valuable
tasks done?
tips on producing
Take
and
a look
marketing
at
your
what happened.
audiobooks.
And
This
then
podcast is
plan
sponsored by
tomorrow.
Pro Audio Voices,
Looking at your
helping
calendar
great
and what you've
stories
already
come
put on
alive
there.
through audiobook
If you
production
did not get
and
something
marketing.
done today, can you fit it
Hi,
in
everyone.
tomorrow?
Thank you so
If
much
not,
for joining me.
Put it back on
Today
your
we're going to talk
checklist
about the
and
top
see
4
where
things you
can
need to
fit it
do in
if
marketing
it's
your
important
audiobook.
to even do it. These
Some
are
of these things you
broad,
may find
but
that
they
are
drop
really
off the list
important
of
as you prepare
that
to
they
market
may,
your
you may not
audiobook.
get to them.
Now,
And
I
that's
know
okay.
and talk
You
with
want to
a
keep
lot of
prioritizing
authors,
what's
and
going to
one
have
of
the
the things
most
that is quite
impact
consistent
in your marketing.
is the sentiment that
And so
marketing
as you
can
learn,
be really
and
overwhelming.
as you move forward,
there are
those things
so
are going to adjust.
many things that you could do
So,
to
as you
market
plan
your
tomorrow,
book and your
you're going to be
audiobook.
adjusting partly
And sometimes
based
it
on
can
what's
feel
already
like
on your calendar for
every
tomorrow,
new marketing
and partly
strategy
adjusting
is like
based
a
on
shiny
how today
object
went.
pulling you that way.
And then
and
I want
you
you to
end up
celebrate the
possibly doing
success
some of those
for
things,
the things
or
that
maybe
did get
just
done.
getting so overwhelmed
Let go of
that
any
you end
feelings
up not
of
doing
failure.
anything.
Any feelings
This
that you
episode is to
disappointed
help
with yourself
you
that you
get
didn't
organized
get a thing done,
and figure out
forgive
how to
yourself,
take it one step
reset.
at a time.
Give
Another
yourself a
thing that
do-over.
happens frequently,
And I
is
want to
that
reiterate
it may feel
the
like if we're
importance
doing
of celebrating
anything,
your
it's
successes.
at least I'm
Even
doing
if they're
something.
little tiny successes,
When that very
celebrate them.
effort